Thin and light, aluminum design, robust performance, and a price tag that won't leave your wallet empty. These three features rarely come together in one laptop, but the Lenovo IdeaPad Pro 5 aims to do exactly that. It ditches the usual discrete GPUs in favor of Intel's Arc 140T, promising creator-focused power and everyday efficiency without the premium cost. In this video, we'll see if the IdeaPad Pro 5 has what it takes for creative performance, as well as the sharp design and competitive price to see if it really delivers. Now let's dive in. For those of you looking for the TLDR, let's talk about the competitive pricing. Unlike many premium looking laptops that skyrocket in cost once you add a discrete GPU, the IdeaPad Pro 5 integrates Intel Arc graphics, which is often more budget friendly than a comparable discrete GPU solution. The aluminum construction. The entire chassis has a sturdy high-end feel. From the lid's texture to the palm rest, Lenovo did not cut corners on the build materials and design of this laptop. Intel Arc 140T, the integrated graphics. With dedicated ray tracing, AI-focused hardware, XMX engines, robust video encoders, and scalable Xe architecture, the Intel Arc 140T fills the performance gap between traditional integrated GPUs and higher cost dedicated solutions from discrete graphics. It aims to deliver solid 3D ray tracing and content creation performance in thinner and lighter laptops like the Lenovo IdeaPad Pro 5, without the premium price tag typically associated with discrete graphics. Now later in the video, we'll see how these attributes play out in real world performance. From the moment you pick up the Lenovo IdeaPad Pro 5, you'll notice the aluminum chassis, a hallmark in premium design. The laptop measures just 0.69 inches thick and weighs about 4.28 pounds. Now you pop the charger into your bag additionally, and you're only gonna end up at 4.68 pounds, which is manageable for your daily commutes or travel. The aluminum lid resists a lot of that flex on the top of laptops that you normally see, and the hinge is smooth, but firm enough to hold the display steady for you. Now there is a bit of a bounce there you can see, but that stabilizes pretty quickly. The deck itself feels well reinforced with almost no flex between the trackpad and the keyboard, so really well designed. Its minimalist style could easily be mistaken for a pricier Ultrabook. The branding is suitable and the edges are clearly machined. The minimalist design and focuses on premium aesthetics are really seen in the IdeaPad Pro 5. You can see it takes after some notes from the Yoga series as well as the more premium ThinkPad series. And when you're looking at the bottom cover, it looks very similar to the way it's assembled into the bottom cover on the Lenovo Yoga, which I think is one of the best put together laptops, especially at such a great price point. To me, like, they are bringing down the cost of premium laptops when it comes to these lineups with these aluminum chassis, but great pricing. Very breathable vents here on the bottom cover of the device. You can easily see the fans through these quite large slats within the bottom vent, so getting a lot of good ventilation through this laptop. And you'll see later in the video, this thing gets amazing thermal performance and quiet fan noise on not only your web browsing and productivity, but also with more intense tasks like 4K video editing or even 6K video editing. So more of that's coming later in the video. Now, despite the slim profile, the Lenovo IdeaPad Pro 5 has a great port selection. We have an SD card reader, 2 USB Type A's, your power button on the side of the laptop. Flip the laptop over, you have 2 USB Type C ports, and you have an HDMI and a headphone jack. I want to take a quick second and give a shout out to Intel for sending over the Lenovo IdeaPad Pro 5 and partnering with me on this video so you can know if it's the right device for your needs. Now let's go ahead and dive into the display. Open the laptop and you're looking at a 16-inch 2.8K 2880 by 1800 resolution display. While it's not 4K, it strikes the balance between clarity and power efficiency. The resolution, that 2.8K, provides crisp text and detailed visuals without the extra battery drain of that full 4K panel. Covering 100% sRGB, 96% Adobe RGB, and 99% DCI-P3 with a delta E of 0.64, it rivals many higher-priced content creation laptops. At 508 nits of screen brightness, it remains bright whether you're in an office environment or near a large window or even outside. You have a refresh rate of 120 Hz, which is great for creator work or casual to moderate gaming. Whether you're streaming a movie, editing photos, or just browsing, you'll appreciate the color vibrancy and clarity that this panel provides. Now, as always, if you're curious about the exact price and availability of the IdeaPad Pro 5, you can head down in the description below and click those links. If you do make a purchase, I'll get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. But of course, that's what keeps this channel alive and the helpful content coming your way. Now, let's talk about where the IdeaPad Pro 5 really changes the game. We're talking about performance to price point. We have the Intel Core Ultra 9 285H with Intel Arc's 140T. That's their new discrete graphics. We have 32 gigs of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD. Now, looking at the simulated benchmarks, you can see that's really showing off, matching up with the top performing laptops available on the market right now. These numbers are in line with the most premium Ultrabooks as well as some of the gaming laptops. So whether you're juggling 20 plus Chrome tabs, large Excel sheets, or heavy code compilation, the CPU doesn't break a sweat. And the performance for many creative tasks is equally as impressive. In Blender, we saw a 192 in the Blender Classroom benchmark. Now, regarding 3D modeling, it's not going to match dedicated GPUs. You'll be able to do some light work in the classic lineup of benchmarks that I feature on my channel, but I would not recommend this to someone looking for a dedicated 3D modeling laptop. It doesn't have the punch to make for that really smooth workflow that you would expect out of a dedicated GPU. Now, Intel's Arrow Lake H CPUs with Lion Cove P cores, Skymount E cores, and Crestmont LPE cores introduce a 3-tiered approach to CPU design, delivering performance for heavy workloads, efficient power use for typical tasks, and ultra-low power consumption for background operations. This multi-level strategy lets laptops and desktops balance speed with long battery life and cooler operations, pushing the boundaries of what hybrid architectures can achieve. Now, for the Lion Cove P cores, these are the performance cores. That's going to handle your demanding tasks like high-end gaming, video editing, and many workloads that benefit most from single-thread performance. Let's talk about Skymount. These are the E cores, efficiency cores. They manage the moderate multi-threaded workloads and background processes at lower power. Crestmont, this is the LPE core, low power efficiency cores. These take on ultralight tasks, system maintenance, and background updates without impacting the system's thermals or draining the battery heavily. Now, this is one of those areas that often gets overlooked. Before we had these LPE cores, a lot of the general system running and even streaming video would be handled on either E cores or even performance cores. And that is where a lot of the battery drain has happened in the past. So developing technologies and focusing more on these lower power tasks actually end up saving you more battery life in the long run, which you'll see in just a moment. Now let's talk about the Intel Arc 140T, their latest launch. Now what we're seeing here is mature driver and ray tracing units. Intel Arc 140T uses a refined Xe HPG architecture featuring extra ray tracing units and updated XMX matrix engines for AI-based super sampling XeSS. Efficient media pipeline, the Arc GPU includes dedicated video encoders, decoders for popular codecs, including AV1. In real-world editing software like DaVinci Resolve and Premiere Pro, hardware-accelerated encoding reduces CPU load and speeds up exports. Looking at Photoshop, you can see it scores an 8,102. Layers, masks, batch operations are going to feel super snappy. Large raw files or multiple open documents won't drastically slow down your workflow. Looking at DaVinci Resolve, the 1080p to 1080p export is 33 seconds for a 9-minute clip. 4K to 4K, 4 minutes and 3 seconds. Resolve leverages both the CPU and the GPU horsepower, and these export times suggest respectable performance, particularly for a laptop that's not leveraging discrete graphics. For Premiere Pro, 1080p to 1080p, 53 seconds. 4K to 4K, 3 minutes and 29 seconds. The 6K raw export, no dedicated GPU, 15 minutes and 17 seconds, on par with dedicated GPUs from last year's models. Now, for playback for 6K, that's an area where I was like, we're getting there, but not quite 0 drop frames. However, we're in the thousands for drop frames, and this is without a dedicated GPU, no dedicated GPU. In models that don't have dedicated GPUs in previous iterations, we're seeing 8, 9, 10,000 beyond drop frames in a 9-minute 6K project. Now remember, all of these are based on 9-minute export times or 9-minute project timelines, so just for some context there. So the amount of frames were dropped were out of 16,177 in the project. Dang, that's really good. And that's on full quality. You move it down to half or fourth quality, no drop frames. Now the user experience, specifically for the keyboard and trackpad. Now the trackpad is accurate, spacious, And it has a really nice smooth surface and makes great for multi-touch gestures and feels very responsive. However, it emits quite a loud click. I was quite surprised to hear how loud this click was. So that's one area that maybe if you work in a quiet work environment, like a library or meeting rooms, be mindful that the click is rather noisy. So probably using like the tap or the gesture features is gonna be good to mitigate that extra noise of the physical click button. Now the keyboard, in contrast, it's actually very quiet. I like the keyboard a lot. It feels soft, but it also snaps back very nicely. Good muffled noise. You have a full-size numpad on the right side. We have our full-size arrow keys, but still given a full-size shift key. Great touch there. So overall, the keyboard is a really great experience. So whether you're writing code for hours, or you're drafting a lengthy report, you'll appreciate that minimal clatter noise paired with a really nice backlight on the keys. So if you're in a dark room, you can be able to see that very reliably. So the experience is overall really suitable for whether you're in light or dark settings. Now let's discuss the speakers. Now Lenovo claims to have a robust audio experience with the IdeaPad Pro 5. But the reality is a little mixed reviews from me personally. This device has really good mids and highs. So you got really great clear vocals, crisp treble, dialogue from movies, sounds very natural. But then when you get into anything with a little bit more bass, it's just almost completely missing. Battery life often takes a hit with powerful laptops, yet the IdeaPad Pro 5 fits a solid 84 watt-hour battery, yielding some impressive results at 25% brightness. Basic productivity is about 9 hours and 25 minutes, streaming video playback 9 hours and 35 minutes, Photoshop work 5 hours and 22 minutes, and then Premiere Pro video editing playback, so it just plays a project on loop, lasted 4 hours and 31 minutes. For a machine with a 16-core CPU, it is quite impressive. It should last most of your workday on light to medium creator tasks and should comfortably last the entire workday on productivity tasks. All right, now let's get into the thermals and fan noise. Under moderate to aggressive loads like 4K exports, the fans run around 35 decibels with temps in the 54 to 62 degrees Celsius range, which is stable. Push the system with 6K resolution video editing and you can get a noise spike up to around 52 decibels, with the CPU temps hitting around 84 to 104 degrees Celsius. So it definitely gets hot with 6K video editing, but 4K was like super comfortable. Low noise, low temperatures. I was very impressed. Okay, now let's check out the upgrade path. You are locked in to 32 gigs of RAM. It's gonna be soldered to the motherboard, so you can't expand from there, but 32 is enough for most advanced tasks like 4K video editing, heavy multitasking, Photoshop work, so you're set there. Now storage, you actually get 2 SSD slots. You get a 2242 and a 2280. You get a small and a full-size SSD slot. Absolutely fantastic on a thin and light device. I was not expecting that, so that's really, really cool. Potential downsides of this device are the 120 hertz display. Now it's fantastic for color accuracy and great for moderate gaming, but if you're a hardcore gamer who wants a 240 hertz display, this might not be for you. No RAM upgrade is another possible downside. If you're somebody who's concerned about outgrowing the 32 gigs of RAM, might be needing 64, then that might be a reason to choose a different laptop. And I'll make some recommendations here in just a moment. But for most people, 32 gigs of RAM is going to be plenty of RAM for multitasking, large workloads in Photoshop. You can see within Premiere Pro, really good playback, even on 6K full quality, which is where RAM is really utilized inside of video editing tools. So I really think that the RAM is suitable for what you might need. The next item would be that this is not touchscreen, pen compatible, and it's not a 2-in-1 laptop. So if you're a digital artist really looking for that experience, then I would definitely recommend something like the Lenovo Yoga 7i, the Lenovo Yoga 9i. These are great devices, solid performance, and they have the pen-capable touchscreen on the laptop, and they're 2-in-1, so great for digital artists. Another area would be maybe not enough graphics performance. Maybe you're interested in doing 3D modeling or a lot of graphics intensive tasks or architecture. That is where I'd recommend something like the Lenovo Yoga Pro 9i with a dedicated GPU that has the RTX 4060. Or if you really want to go all out, I would check out the Lenovo Legion Pro 5i. That you can get a 4070 or a 4080. Obviously 50 series coming out soon if you want to spend the extra money, but the 4070s and 4080s have plenty of performance for 3D modeling. So those would be my recommendations for people who might see a few downsides to this device. So does the Lenovo IdeaPad Pro 5 live up to the hype? If your goal is to have a premium feeling laptop with pro level performance that doesn't break the bank, then I'd say yes. By opting for the Intel Arc 140T instead of a pricier discrete graphics option, Lenovo keeps the cost down without sacrificing too much power. But you get great power efficiency. Combine that with aluminum chassis, color accurate 16-inch display, and solid battery life, and you have a system that blends productivity, creativity, and portability. Sure, it's not a 240 hertz gaming beast, and you won't be able to upgrade beyond 32 gigs of RAM. But it checks off a lot of the boxes for a wide audience. And if you're looking for a best of both worlds laptop, clean design, enough muscle for serious workloads, and an appealing price, this might just be your next thin and light workstation that takes you on the go. If you're interested in the exact pricing and availability, make sure you head down in the description below and click those links. Of course, if you make a purchase, it'll give me a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. And if you're looking for more videos to help you with your buying decision, click or tap the screen here. I'll see you in the next one.